As you know, the Supreme Court of the United States has decided that separate public educational facilities for the races are inherently unequal, and therefore compulsory school segregation laws are unconstitutional.
Meanwhile, U.S. students at the University of Yale have held a protest rally over racial tensions on their campus. A fraternity reportedly didn't allow a woman into an open event because she wasn't white.
Investigators say a 19-year-old student at a different school in the U of Missouri system admits that online threats he made against black students and faculty were patterned after similar threats linked to last month's mass shooting in Oregon.
Hi, my name is Tia Brown. I'm a GW senior majoring in psychology, minoring in criminal justice.
My name is Jordan McDonald. I'm a sophomore in the Columbia College of Arts and Sciences, and I am a political science major with a minor in journalism.
My first reaction to the University of Missouri situation was a reaction that happened off of Twitter. It was hashtagging under concerned student 1950, and so I think the first thing that came to my mind was that this is a huge digression of just the state of our society, the fact that we would have to deal with racial issues on campus in 2015.
At first it made me pretty uncomfortable, just knowing that like people my age, people out there could be so inconsiderate of, you know, somebody, a minority student like myself in general. Also the fact that it happened on a college campus where the idea is to learn and to learn how to respect and tolerate other people.
Please stop focusing on the fact of the Mizzou hunger strike itself. Look at why did we have to get here in the first place, and why the struggle, and why we had to fight the way that we did.
My name is Kate Denson. I'm on staff with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship here at George Washington. I have a coworker who talks about racism in the forms like we would talk about water. So like at one time racism was like ice. Like it was very visible, it was a solid. So like we had slavery where people who were different were literally used in a very negative, inhumane sort of way. Then we sort of moved to more like it's like a liquid, like it's a little bit more fluid, and this is like post-slavery, like the Jim Crow time, even segregation, things like that. And then even now I think what we're seeing is that racism still exists, even though like you can change from ice to water to like solid water to like a gas form. The gas is still the same substance, it just looks different. So it's difficult to notice it because it's like it's in the air.
I'm making history.
I'm making history.
I'm making history.
The George Washington University is making a difference. The George Washington University is making history. Join us.
I think by and large students for the most part feel like GW is a good learning environment. But I think in any institution like GW, there are both situations and policies and procedures that can be improved upon, and also people, their personal interactions, sometimes they're not always, perfect. And people do sometimes say things or make mistakes, and that happens both in personal relationships and academic relationships. But I think the university is committed to making sure when something happens and a student is upset, that there's either a remedy or a solution or training.
I don't think that GW has kind of entered the discussion very well. I think that they've kind of taken a very reserved, standoffish approach. The only real understanding that I have of GW's say in the matter has come from student advocacy to bring these issues into like the awareness of administrators on our campus. And then I remember after Mizzou, and when there was an organization of a white alliance on our campus, there was like a statement released about how violence isn't condoned, but it took that threat for that statement to come out. So I think that, GW's been fairly silent in the matter.
I think any institution that's as big as ours can't really have a handle on every single scenario or every single student's kind of emotion on those issues. On the flip side, if there's something that's happening that the university knows about, we certainly will take an action. And the example would be, maybe the best example I saw recently was the White Student Union piece on social media where we were seeing it, and students were also bringing it to our attention. And we took steps immediately to notify Facebook and to sort of put out a statement. And I think universities have a responsibility to sort of say, this is a safe community, and we expect all students to be able to kind of respect each other and treat each other civilly. The other example, whereas something's happening that we might not know about, a student might have an incident or might have a situation happen, and it really requires them to step forward and say, this happened to me, and then we can act accordingly.
I think some steps you could take are to be welcoming to other students. When someone feels like they're being racially threatened, it's always important to not brush them off but hear them out, because to silence somebody like that puts them in a smaller bubble where they feel even more uncomfortable, where they feel like the people around them also don't support them.
While I was in those places of just kind of understanding what it really means to be Black in America, what the Black experience has been, what a minority experience is in this country, is one that everyone needs to understand if we're really going to prevent things like Mizzou from continuing to happen, because I think at the root of it, it's ignorance. So the biggest thing that I think GW can do is to make awareness and education a priority.
There's just there are a lot of things that are happening on campus. Like, there are people having talks, there are people staging protests, they're all over our city, all over our campus, and maybe you don't understand all of it, but still, like, the willingness to show up as a form of learning, and even just to lend your support by bringing your personhood and your body to the space, is a way of saying, I want to stand with someone who's in pain. Even if I don't understand their pain, maybe I don't even relate, and maybe I don't even agree with everything they're saying, but when I put myself in that space, I'm saying, you hurt, I want to be with you in your hurt.